Hey, friends. So today we are talking to the director and writer of A Little Prayer, Angus MacLachlan. Thank you very much for your time today, sir. I've watched the movie already, and I want to say that I it broke me because as being a father, there's like so many things in there that I related to. But I wanted to talk to you first about like what was like the because it's been a while since your last movie. I think it's been almost 6 years since we had the last one. So during that time to this, like, was this a story that you were thinking of, or was it something that like something in your life that happened that you wanted to write a story, or where was like the genesis, I guess you say, of A Little Prayer?
Well, I always feel like anything you make is kind of like Frankenstein. Some of it comes from your experience, some comes from something you've observed, something comes just from your imagination. This came from, stories that I'd read. And also, I realized I have a daughter who was 15 when I started this. I've been working on this for 8 years, almost more
Wow.
than that. It just took that long. And I realized in retrospect that I was writing about letting her grow up, that now she's almost 24, and I had to face her going off to school and going off in the world. And really sort of the center of the film to me is when you're the parent of an adult child, you still want to protect them and tell them what to do, and you can't. And the struggle with that.
Yes, yes, and I think Vanina put it beautifully when she said, I just had it right here. We just have to be here when they need us. And
Right.
I mean, that was just like a great moment. But I mean, the entire movie, the relationship between Jane and David's character. I mean, how is it finding the combination of those two actors? Was like, did you go through a series of actors before you found that, or right away you knew like these are the two people that I want for these roles?
Well, I work with a great casting guy, Mark Bennett, who also cast Junebug, which I wrote years ago, and kind of brought Amy Adams to us. And he brought Jane Levy. He said, "Have you considered Jane Levy?" And I said, No, I don't really know that much about her." And so I just met her on Zoom, and we talked about the role, and I wanted to cast her. And then after that, I saw Zoe's Extraordinary
Yeah.
Playlist was her TV show, and thought, "Oh my God, she's so talented. Like, she can sing and dance and do comedy." So that's how she came to me. And then David Strathairn, I needed an actor for that role who had real gravitas,
Hmm.
honor. And I had actually approached him for my last film, Abundant Acreage Available, and he couldn't do it. But he was such a nice guy, and he went to see it after it was done and told me he liked it. So I went back to him and was just, I mean, he is everything you imagine him to be. He really is a great man.
Yeah, there's something about him and his presence. Like when he comes on the screen, you know you're in for something like either heartbreaking or just something that's going to be really good. And then I think him playing the dad was just perfect for this. One thing that like my mind is like going everywhere because I have like a million questions, but I know I have a short limited time. Um, but one other thing I wanted to ask you was that the where did I go? I'm sorry. That there is we're speaking of Jane. The scene of Tammy in the clinic, it's all just done in one take, and then like how like the range of emotions in her face as the camera is going around her. What was the I guess what was the idea of let's do this in one take and in one shot, and then like how was it just how many times did it take to do that shot?
Yeah, well, I always imagined it to be just on her. And I work with my great DP cinematographer, Scott Miller, and we devised that sort of almost 360-degree take. And the reason was I wanted to see what she went through, what the character went through, and also just the idea of someone in that position that her character is in. What is 360 degrees to consider what that choice that she makes is for her?
Mhm.
And I love films that are made with non-actors. They can be great, but I was an actor for a long time, and so I really, really love actors, and because they can hold more than one thing at the same time. And she's just amazing in that scene because she does go through so many different emotions and thoughts.
Yes.
And I will say that the day we shot it was the day that the Dobbs decision was handed down. We had set up the shot, and a PA came to me and said, "Did you hear what just happened?" And that was unbelievable. And it, went through the whole crew and it deeply affected everyone, but particularly the two women in that scene
Mhm.
having to do it. We shot it 3 times and I thought it was great. And then we had a little bit of a problem and we had to wait. And then um, Jane said, "Can we try one more time?" And I said, "Sure." And that's the one we used. And what's great is that it's not just emotional. It's so many different things that she goes through. That she's thinking, she smiles, she goes through her emotion, then she kind of pulls herself back together. And I also really love the woman that she plays opposite of because she's so connected as well. So thanks for mentioning that scene.
Yeah, no, that was very powerful. And then the two, how you talked about like how it would be a 360. It kind of for me in a way connected to the end when they were talking about the panorama, like the
Exactly.
pictures, and it was just, and then they finally walk out and see it, and it's like it's so many connections in it that I guess the movie broke me when I was finishing watching it. Um, the movie's called A Little Prayer, and then I try to look into like the etymology of the phrase "a little prayer," like where it came from, and but everything kept coming back to the song.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't nothing. But one thing that I did see that kind of reminded me of David's character was it was like the phrase suggests a personal and intimate connection with the divine where the individual expresses their needs or thoughts in a simple, direct way. And that's what I felt about Bill's character. Like he's always wanted to know what was going on, and he wasn't really too shy to ask people, especially like when he went to Nurse Dahlia's house. Like that whole situation. I didn't know how that was gonna turn out.
Yeah.
Um, but also the character, the actress that plays Nurse Dahlia, Dasha. I mean, she was amazing in this too. Like, how did you find her? Because I know the last time I saw her was I think in The Heights.
Yeah.
So now she's in this.
I think that Mark Bennett told me about her as well. And I don't really like, I don't, because I was an actor, I don't really like to audition people that have careers.
Mhm.
I just talk to them, see if they're, send them a script and see if they're interested. And then I just talk to them about it. And it's more of an intuitive thing. And she's a fantastic person who was a single mother herself and then put herself through nursing school and then became an actor and she's an entrepreneur and has like music on the side and and the clothes and she's just great. And I was so happy that she also came onto the film.
Thank you. Nice, nice. I mean, again, going back to the parent thing, we have the sister that comes back, Patty, um, which is another situation. And then the thing that, as a parent, like we want to teach our kids, we want to give them everything so once they leave the house, they're prepared. Like I have a 15-year-old and a 15-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son. So like we want to make sure that once they leave the house, they're okay. But we never, we still want to be there for them. And I think that's what I really liked about like Bill's dilemma in a way is that he wanted to take care of her, his daughter, give her, but he knew that if he kept doing it, like it's not going to lead to anything. And I think we've all known like people like that just keep coming back for it. But I mean, that's the great thing about parenting is that we have to be there for our kids. So the question I had for you is like, with that character, like how much did you want to let us know about her situation? Because we really don't know like what's going on with her husband. Like we just know like that he has some bad days, I guess it was how it was put. But how much was it that you wanted to like keep that to the side and just focus on Jane and David's character?
Yeah, I mean, I always imagined that um, David, their son, was sort of the golden boy who always did something great, which is why it's so unsettling that whatever's going on with him now. And
Mhm.
that Patty was sort of held the shadow for the family and was always the screw up. Like if the two of them snuck out, Patty would get caught.
Yeah.
She always did that. But I also wanted to show um, again, as an actor, I always loved and I love films or stories where you could imagine a whole storyline down that character, where you just get a sense that it's a person that you could actually make a movie just about that person or that character.
Mhm.
And also, it's more fun to play a character that has, more dimensions. So I also wanted to show with her that her screw upness is also kind of her strength, that she's not gonna get crushed by life, and
Mhm.
that she's in a bad situation probably with her marriage, her husband, but you can imagine she's not gonna get, you know, stopped.
Yeah.
That the very thing that makes her really hard to deal with is also her strength.
Yes, yes. And then I thought like Patty's character was great because it kind of brought a little bit more sense of humor in the movie. But
Yeah.
then there is like a lot of great one-liners throughout the movie. There was one that made me laugh when Patty actually was like saying that you called me ugly when I was little, and she's like, "Well, you grew out of it."
Right.
So there's a lot of things like that. So how was it difficult, like balancing like the humor in the script, but also trying to keep that this is a kind of a serious story?
Oh, I just feel like life is that way. I mean, that it's difficult and hard and emotional and it's funny at the same time. And and hopefully my intention is not to make fun of the characters, but just recognizable. And actually
Mm.
that line, my parents said that to me once. They said, you said I was an ugly baby, and they said, well, you grew out of it. And you know, Celia Weston, who plays the mother, is so great at that. She's been in 3 of my films, and she
Mhm.
has such emotional veracity and verisimilitude, and at the same time can just turn that line right on the dot and make something funny, which is my intention.
Right.
So it's why I love to work with her.
Yeah, she was great in the movie. I mean, and it's funny too because like you don't really know what her issue is through as the movie, and then like one time you'll see her dressed as a Puritan, and like, wait, what's going on? Then you find out why. I was like, okay, so there's nothing wrong with her. Um, but the one thing that I did really like about the movie was that you ended it with the song I'm probably gonna mispronounce this, but it's Un Flambe, Jeanette, and Isabella, which is the same song that Bill was singing in
Right.
the kitchen. So why would you or how would you I guess describe wanting to bookmark the movie that way?
Well, it's a Christmas carol that in English it's Bring a Torch, Jeanette, Isabella, and I never heard of it until I was an adult.
Ah,
And I thought it was interesting. And then I actually heard that recording by this singer, Diane Taraz, and while I was writing the film, and I just thought her singing was so beautiful. And we contacted her and asked her, could we use it? And then I thought it's just so interesting to have Bill know this. You know, it's something again where there's a trope of what working class people are like or Southern people are like, that he would know this song in French. And she says, you know, Tammy says, how would you know that? And he says, I get around. I just think that it's always interesting to have surprising things happen to characters.
all right, and I need to wrap it up, but I do want to ask about the final scene. I don't want to give away too much of it,
Yeah.
but I guess I would say like because it is such a powerful scene between the two characters and the whole kindred spirits thing. I mean, we all know someone that we connect to that in that way. But how many, I guess, variations of that script did you go through before you finally like locked it in and like this is what we're gonna film?
Not a lot, actually. It was pretty close to it. Actually, when we got to the scene, David had a couple of suggestions, and then when I edited it, you know, I took out a few things, but they were just fantastic. So that one shot that moves over from her to him, when we shot that, which was about the 4th day, I thought, if I don't screw up anything else, I've got the movie. I've got that moment between the two of them.
Yeah, like I said, that moment actually it really crushed me. And I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for your time today, friends. A little prayer. Do we know like if there's going to be a release date yet for this, or is it just festivals right now?
It's in festivals, but we hope the release will be very soon.
Okay, so friends, when it does come out, go check it out. It's a great movie. Angus, thank you very much for your time today, and have a great day.
Thanks. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.